Criminal justice reform in New York. Bail reform. New York has implemented bail reform measures to reduce reliance on cash bail for low-level offenses, aiming to address disparities in pretrial detention and ensure fair treatment regardless of socioeconomic status. Sentencing reform. Efforts to reform sentencing laws in New York focus on reducing mandatory minimum sentences, providing alternatives to incarceration for nonviolent offenses, and promoting rehabilitation and reentry programs for individuals in the criminal justice system. Drug law reform. New York has reformed its drug laws to prioritize treatment and diversion programs over incarceration for individuals struggling with substance abuse disorders, recognizing the public health approach to addressing drug addiction. Police accountability. There have been calls for increased police accountability and transparency in New York, including measures such as body-worn cameras, civilian oversight boards, and enhanced training on de-escalation techniques and cultural sensitivity. Law enforcement policies in New York. Community policing. Law enforcement agencies in New York are increasingly adopting community policing strategies aimed at building trust and collaboration between police officers and the communities they serve, with a focus on problem solving and crime prevention. Use of force policies. New York has revised its use of force policies to emphasize de-escalation techniques, limit the use of lethal force to situations where it is absolutely necessary, and ensure accountability for officers involved in use of force incidents. Crisis intervention teams. Many law enforcement agencies in New York have established crisis intervention teams, CITs, comprised of specially trained officers to respond to calls involving individuals experiencing mental health crises, with an emphasis on connecting them to appropriate treatment and support services. Data collection and analysis. Law enforcement agencies in New York are increasingly collecting and analyzing data on police interactions, including stops, searches, and use of force incidents, to identify patterns of bias or misconduct and inform policy and training decisions. Collaborative partnerships. New York law enforcement agencies collaborate with community organizations, social service providers, and other stakeholders to address underlying issues contributing to crime and improve public safety outcomes through coordinated efforts. By investigating criminal justice reform efforts and law enforcement policies in New York, policymakers, stakeholders, and community members can work together to promote accountability, fairness, and effectiveness in the criminal justice system while building trust and collaboration between law enforcement and the communities they serve.